go brownies, here we go. Here we go brownies, here we go. Here we go brownies, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go brownies, here we go. Here we go brownies, here we go. Here we go brownies, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Cleveland is the city and town, orange and brown. You know what's going down, we reppin' that dog pound. Fans going crazy, dogs want a bone. Offense headed straight to the end zone. Ground game, pound game, this is our season. Now we need to stop. Let's go defense, special team, running back 6 for the score. Extra point good and the whole crowd roar. Here we go brownies, here we go. Here we go brownies, here we go. Here we go brownies, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Good afternoon, what's up and what's good, everybody? And welcome to the All About Sports 216 Cleveland Browns pregame show here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon as we just escaped morning and everything. But today, what's going on and what's good? This is your man Keith Allen here on this Sunday afternoon as I preview the Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens game that will be happening at 1 o'clock this afternoon. 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, I'm going to get into a few things, and some of the things might not be for the faint of heart. I would just say that. They might not be for the faint of heart. But I'm going to get into a few things. Matter of fact, I'm going to get into a bunch of things. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk about Terrence Crawford winning his fight last night. And people will probably be like, what do he has to do with the Cleveland Browns? I'll tell you. I will tell you and everything. Be patient with me. I'm just sharing my show and everything. Just sharing my show. Be patient with me. I'll be right back to you in a second. Very second. There we go. One more. All right, now I'm here and everything. Got my full undivided attention and everything. The Cleveland Browns 0-1. They lost to the Cincinnati Bengals last week, 17-16. They go up against the Baltimore Ravens, who are 0-1. As they lost to the Buffalo Bills by 1 point, 41-40. Them extra points, boy, be looming large, don't they? They be looming large. Let me tell you a few things and everything. First off, the chat lines are open. Feel free to holler at me. The chat lines are open. Feel free to holler at me and everything. What you got to say about the Browns and all that. Second, this show comes on every Sunday at 12 p.m. Every Sunday at 12 p.m. The post-game show will be coming on about 30 to 45 minutes after the conclusion of the Cleveland Browns versus Baltimore Ravens football game. Get them likes up. Like if you're on Instagram. Like if you're on Facebook. Like if you're on YouTube. Like me if you're on X. Get them likes up and share the video as well. Definitely share the video as well because I'm going to get into some stuff that might not be for the faint of heart. But first off, I want to give a congrats to Terrence Crawford, as Terrence Crawford last night defeated Canelo Alvarez. And truthfully, it wasn't even close. I don't know what they scored that fight. It was 116-112. Then two of the judges had it 115-113. I'm like, 115-113? I'm like, what? Wasn't even that close. Terrence Crawford outboxed Canelo Alvarez, and now he is the super middleweight champion of the world at 42-0 and 31 knockouts. He is the super middleweight champion of the world, the first ever to do so, coming from lightweight and going all the way up to super middleweight champion of the world. And I'm going to say this. If this is the last time that we see Terrence Crawford fight, because he is 37 and will be 38 in a couple weeks, he will go down as one of the greatest. Because he went through a few weight classes and he took on all comers. Matter of fact, he had been campaigning for this fight with Alvarez for about 2 years. And he studied Alvarez. And he was a big fan of Alvarez. Matter of fact, he was a big fan of Alvarez. He studied it for 2 years. So big ups to Terrence Crawford. Now, you're probably asking, what in the hell does Terrence Crawford got to do with the Cleveland Browns? And I'm going to tell you. But first, let me give you a word from my sponsor and everything. Uh-oh. Got to get this thing up and everything. I give you a word from my sponsor and all that. Got to do a quick weave, but I got to get the picture first. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Forgive me, y'all. I'm slipping. I'm slipping. God dog it. I'm slipping. The sponsor is Anointed Angel Apparel. And once I get to the picture, I will put it up here. Once I get to the picture, I'll put it up here. I'm like, I can't believe this. Be prepared for the show and everything, whatnot, and then this happens. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Why me? Oh, there we go. Going up there. Going up there. About to get this up there. Be patient with me, everybody. Be patient with me. Get them lights up, everybody. Get them lights up. Be patient with me. I'm about to do the read from my sponsor and everything. Just like that. Boom. Boom. Anointed Angel Apparel, where faith, family, and fashion come together. From stylish t-shirts and cozy sweatshirts to dazzling bling rhinestone shirts that shine with purpose. We design every piece with God at the center. But we don't stop there. Discover personalized tumblers, beautiful photo slates, custom engraving, and even UV 3D textured home decor items that makes your house a home. In every design, Anointed Angel Apparel carries a message of hope, faith, and love. Because we're more than a brand. We're a family business devoted to lifting up the name of Jesus. Shop with us today and wear your faith boldly. Anointed Angel Apparel, where your testimony becomes your style. Email anointedangelapparel.com for a custom consultation. Oh yeah, got it done, got it done, got it done, got it done there, got it done there. I'm back. Now, what in the world does Terrence Crawford have to do with the Cleveland Browns? But first, I'm going to get and tell y'all the problem with the Cleveland Browns. The problem with the Cleveland Browns. And the problem with the Cleveland Browns is, and this is real, and I'm going to say this organization and the media here in Cleveland, Ohio, the organization and the media is worried about everything else except the Browns' clear and present reality as is. They're worried about everything else except the clear and present reality as is. My case in point. 3 things I had to hear about all this week with the Cleveland Browns. Number 1, we had to hear about this week about the Ravens throwing their 30th anniversary party. And guess who happens to be the guest? The Cleveland Browns. A lot of people made a big stink out of it or whatever and stuff like that. To me, Honestly, I wasn't even thinking about the Ravens' 30th anniversary until I heard one of our radio hosts bring it up and basically call the Ravens some scumbags for throwing it on the weekend that the Browns make an appearance in Baltimore. Now, me myself, I don't care and I don't give a F, but I can understand a lot of people's pain over the Browns leaving 30 years ago and everything. Matter of fact, I was 26 years old at the time. Matter of fact, I just started working down at the Calgary County Jail as a CO back then. That's how long it's been and everything. Matter of fact, my son was only 3 years old, matter of fact, at the time. And he'll be 33 this year. So, understand people's pain, but 30 years ago and stuff like that, it is what it is and stuff and things. It is what it is. But I wouldn't be worried about the Ravens throwing a 30th anniversary party. For real, for real. I wouldn't be worried about the Ravens' 30th anniversary party. I'd give less than an F about the Ravens' 30th anniversary party. Then, number two, another thing we worried about, Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, of course, is the third team quarterback. Now, he caught backlash from our media for him having a hat on backwards during the game last Sunday, where he was seen on TV consoling the Browns kicker, Andrew Schmidt, after missing another field goal that would have put the Browns ahead. Schmidt had already previously missed the extra point that would have gave the Browns a 3-point lead, and he had missed the makeable 36-yard field goal that would have put the Browns ahead of the Cincinnati Bengals. And you seen Shedeur Sanders consoling him. And all these people talking about he should be dialed into the game. How is he not dialed in? He's being a good teammate. People, relax. He's being a good teammate. Because usually, and I'm going to tell you, when kickers miss kicks, especially makeable kicks, nobody on the team talks to their asses at all. Nobody. Nobody talks to the kickers at all. And Shedeur was offering his hand. Like, look, it's going to get better. You can do this, buddy. Hey, you still here. We need you later on. And people talking about he wearing his hat to the back. All these quarterbacks have wore their hat to the back on the sideline. Relax. Let the kid breathe. But the fact that we're talking about the third string quarterback is insane. Totally, definitely insane. Then another thing. Also had to hear this week about Shedeur not getting scout team reps. It's like, really? This is what we're talking about? Where a team is 0-1 and have to go to the Beast, Baltimore, on Sunday, and we're talking about whether a third string quarterback, a third string quarterback, is getting scout team reps? Come on, really? Scout team reps. Come on. If his name would have been Shedeur Evans, Shedeur Jones, Shedeur Jackson, Shedeur Williams, this would not even be a conversation. Heard another radio host raising hell about that. But this would not even be a conversation if Shedeur's last name was any other last name besides Sanders. Which shows me that the media here is looking for clickbait, clicks, clout, whatever, any little story that they can get. But the thing that is the real, this is what I didn't hear about during the week. the fact that no one took to task the front office, the GM, and the coach about finding a damned kicker. No one said anything. Matter of fact, a lot of people, a lot of the media and stuff here was seem relieved that Cincinnati only beat our butt by 1 point. They seem relieved to only get beat by 1 point. But nobody in the media said anything about that. Didn't raise no stink about that. Dude missed the extra point, missed the makeable 36-yard field goal. And both kicks was pushed to the right. Didn't hear jack about that. Didn't hear jack about that our running game was anemic, terrible. Didn't hear jack about that. And that Jerome Ford, please, I don't think nobody wants to see Jerome Ford today. To be honest, he was terrible. Didn't hear nothing about that. But we could talk about whether a third string quarterback wears his hat to the back on the sidelines. Imagine that. Imagine that. We didn't hear nothing about that at all. At all. But the fact that there was holes for Jerome Ford to run through, but for some reason he didn't go through those holes. But I ain't hear nothing about that. And the fact that both our wide receivers, our starting wide receivers, Jared Jeudy and Cedric Tillman, both dropped passes that ended up being intercepted. Didn't hear nothing about that. I gotta watch my language and everything. I gotta watch my language. Didn't hear nothing about that. But we could talk about what Baltimore are doing on their weekend, on their opening day weekend, and we could talk about whether Shedeur had a hat to the back on, and Shedeur had a hat to the back, and that he's not receiving scout team reps. But the more pressing parts about the game on Sunday, didn't hear nothing about that at all. Nothing during the week, during the media. Or nothing on the media taking his front office, coaching staff to task about not being able to find a kicker. Kickers are dime a dozen. And they do win and lose you games. Ask the Ravens on the other side. Because I went to bed last Sunday night. The Ravens was up 40-25 and the kicker had just missed the extra point. And when I woke up Monday morning, guess who? Guess what? The Buffalo Bills came back and won 41-40. So, kickers do matter in the National Football League. They do matter. And you have to convert your kicks. But we didn't hear nothing about that. We was all worried about the Ravens celebrating their 30th anniversary, and we was worried about Shedeur getting third team reps, where usually the third team quarterback never gets mentioned at all. Like I said, if his name would have been Shedeur Jones, Shedeur Jackson, Shedeur Williams, you wouldn't have heard jack about it. But Cleveland media, we blow little BS like this up. Little BS like this up. But the main thing is, the Browns are 0-1, can possibly, if you look at the schedule down the road, after the Ravens game, guess who we got? The Packers. After the Packers game, guess who we got? The Detroit Lions. After the Lions game, we take a trip aboard to London to see Austin Powers and the Minnesota Vikings. And then after that, we got Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So do you know, on the real point about this team could possibly be 0-6 in a few weeks. And we're talking about a third string quarterback and whether another team is doing a celebration on our behalf. Now, I will say this. The reason why Baltimore is going to do that celebration on the Browns, because they don't respect the Browns. The league doesn't respect the Browns. That's why. But I'll say this on Baltimore's behalf. I don't think they, back in whenever they made the thing to celebrate the 30th anniversary, they pointed to this date or whatever like that. Nah, we're giving ourselves too much credit and everything. Too much credit just happens to fall on it. But since it falls on the Browns, why not the Browns be that disrespectful guest? Go spike the punch. Spit in all they food. Let the Browns be the disrespectful guests. And then people's also raising hell on the fact that Jared Judy and Grant Delpit said some things about the Ravens. Not vain things, but little things and stuff and everything. Because, see, Friday, I was on the We Bleed Purple podcast. Shouts out to Matt Trigger, Coach Daniel Wilcox, former Ravens player, and Joel Gamble, who is a former Browns player. Thank you for making me a part of your podcast and everything on Friday night and everything. And they asked me about Shador. I'm like, he's third string quarterback. There's nothing to ask about. Nothing to ask about. But, like I said, the Cleveland Browns' problem is they worry about everything else going on outside the lines except the near and immediate reality going on with this football team. That's it. They worry about everything else except the immediate reality. And the immediate reality is this team is 0-1 and they're going to Baltimore to face the Ravens, who are going to be pretty pissed off. But you know what? I like that energy Jared Judy gave during his press conference. The no shirt Jared Judy at that, might I add. I like that energy. But now, Jared Judy, since you had a very mid game last week where you dropped a couple of passes, one on the key fourth down, and one that ended up being an interception, now, since you're not pressed about that Baltimore Ravens secondary, you're going to have to show it and be about it in between those lines this afternoon. You're going to have to definitely show it and be about it today. Grant Delpit, I like the energy when you said it ain't hard to tackle Derrick Henry and everything, even though almost the majority, 99% of the nation, may differ with you. But what I need you to do on Sunday is show it in between the lines. The Browns need to be that disrespectful guest, so that the Ravens will never think about pulling no shit like this ever again. Be that disrespectful guest. Ruin the party. Ruin the party. Get in between the lines and ruin the party. Because truthfully, I'm going to tell you the truth. The Browns can win this game. All points of being for real, the Browns can win this game. They definitely can win this game. And I'm going to give you some keys to the game that the Browns can win this game. First, we're going to go offensive. Offensive keys to the game for the Cleveland Browns. One, they got to get something out the run game today. Try to get the run game going. Hopefully, Quinshon Judkins plays today. Hopefully. He will be an added boost to this offense and to the running game. Because the running game last week, let's be honest, was very pedestrian. Very pedestrian. I mean, Dylan Sampson had 12 carries, 29 yards. But he looked at a hell of a lot better than Jerome Ford last week. For real. But I don't like Dennis Sampson really running in between the tackles. I like him coming out the backfield and catching passes from Flacco and everything. Number two, the Browns have to take vertical shots downfield. More vertical downfield passing. Otherwise, Joe Flacco is coming back home. He's got to test that Ravens secondary. He's got to test that Ravens secondary and see what they got. So I expect to see a lot from Jared Jeudy, Tillman, Isaiah Bond, Jamari Thrash. He's got to take shots downfield. Joe Flacco has definitely got to take shots downfield. Because if we go playing with the game plan that they played last week against Cincinnati, Baltimore just going to close it in. And the Browns will have nothing coming offensively. Number three, try to cut down the mental mistakes. DeJuan Jones had a very bad game. 41% run blocking. Got to improve upon that. He had 4 penalties just last week. 2 of them was declined, but he had 4 penalties. He had a bad game. And I don't know if Conklin is playing today. We don't know. So Browns got to try to cut down the mental mistakes. Definitely, especially in Baltimore. Because you don't need to give the Ravens no help at all. And then fourth, which I've been saying for the past 2 years, no damn turnovers. That's right. No damn turnovers. We cannot turn the ball over to this team because Baltimore is a front running team. And once they get to rolling, don't give them no more help than they need. No damn turnovers. No damn turnovers at all. You limit the turnovers, I guarantee you, if we limit the turnovers and we take some shots downfield and be successful, I guarantee you the Browns will be in it at the end. And then that's another thing that pissed me off. I just thought about this, that the odds makers labeled the Browns a 12-point dog for this game. A 12-point dog, and considering the fact this is the second week of the season and everybody is relatively healthy, that's totally disrespectful and disingenuous. Totally. Excuse me. Because when the Browns have played the Ravens in the past, except last year at the end of the season when you had Bailey Zappi and DTR sharing the reins at quarterback, which they should have been like a 12-point dog, 15-point dog then, because we had absolutely no chance at winning with those two guys at quarterback. But with Joe Flacco coming home, a 12-point dog? Really? Come on. Come on now. Can't be serious. But along with the offensive keys to the game, I got to give you the defensive keys to the game. Here we go. Defensive keys to the game. They have to stop the Ravens' running game. Can't let Derrick Henry get off. And part of the way you stop Derrick Henry from getting off, that gap integrity, and get him before he actually gets started. You got to get him in the backfield before he actually gets started. Now, in the past, the Browns have had successful games against Derrick Henry. But the difference this time going up against Derrick Henry this time is you got the wild card with Lamar Jackson, who can also pull that read option and take it and run it himself. Number two, can the rookies pass the test? The rookies I'm talking about is linebacker Carson Schweshinger and defensive tackle Mason Graham. They'll be crucial to the Browns stopping that running game if they're successful. There will be crucial pieces into doing that. And also saying it as well, if not, there will be crucial reasons why Derrick Henry might have ran wild on us or Lamar Jackson might have ran wild on us. But can they pass the test? Because this is a test like they haven't faced, where you have a two-headed monster in the run game with the Ravens. Derrick Henry, who's like a freight train. Lamar Jackson, sleek and smooth. Will they be up to the task to stop the running game? Number 3, communication in the defensive backfield is crucial because the thing with Lamar Jackson is he has definitely improved his passing game skills, definitely tenfold. Tenfold. And communication in the defensive backfield is a must. Can't allow Zay Flowers to be tiptoeing through the tulips, running open. You can't allow DeAndre Hopkins to be, or Justin Bateman, all of a sudden get open, or the Baltimore tight ends. Mark Andrews. I don't think Isaiah Likely is playing today, but communication in the defensive backfield is crucial today. Number 4, no mental lapses, which goes with communication. No mental lapses, no offside penalties, no pre-snap penalties defense. Be ready, understand the excitement, understand the assignment, get it done. And then number 5, which is part of the problem last week, get some turnovers. Be opportunistic, Cleveland Browns defense. Get some turnovers. Because turnovers can make a difference in the game. Think about it. Those turnovers last week, those 2 turnovers made the difference in the game. Because one of the turnovers resulted in the Bengals kicking a field goal to go ahead 17-16. And the last turnover just put a nail in the coffin for the Browns as the Bengals got victory over the Cleveland Browns 17-16. Get some turnovers. Be opportunistic defense. Get some turnovers. Because turnovers is crucial in today's game. But like I said, I think the Browns can be that disrespectful guest and beat the Ravens. I absolutely think so. But they got to go out there, no nonsense, and go out there with us against the world mentality. And everybody asks what Terrence Crawford relates to the Browns. Because think about it. Terrence Crawford, nobody really gave him a chance to go against Canelo Alvarez, especially going up a few weight classes and going up to super middleweight in Canelo's weight class at that. Nobody gave Terrence Crawford a chance, for real, for real. All we kept hearing is that how his career will be marred if he loses the fight. But Terrence Crawford did what he does best. He dialed it in, undertook the assignment, understood the assignment, and he made it happen. And he defeated Canelo. In a situation where the fight at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, I say about 70,000, almost 50,000 was there for Canelo. To be fair, about 50,000 was there for Canelo. And the Browns are going into a hostile environment where everybody will be for the Ravens and celebrating the Ravens weekend or anniversary. But let the Browns be that hostile guest. And if the Browns can take some shots downfield, challenge the Ravens downfield, if the Browns can limit their turnovers on offense, don't have no turnovers preferably, but in NFL games, shit happens. But if the Browns can limit their turnovers to few or none, and if the Browns can limit the Ravens' running game on defense, because think about it, Zay Flowers, G. Newsome had a hell of a game against Cincinnati. And they went up against T. Higgins and Jamar Chase last week. Zay Flowers, Justin Bateman, and DeAndre Hopkins. Now, whoever's that third corner, going to have to play a game too, going to ball out too. But G. Newsome and Denzel Ward, I'm confident in those two guys. Schlesinger got a different task because he got to worry about the running game, and possibly him and Devin Bush are going to have to check Mark Andrews. That's going to be a formidable task and everything. But I think the Browns can get it done this weekend. I really do. The Browns should be coming in pissed off because everybody done wrote the Browns off this week. And everybody's talked about everything else except what's going on the field. Everybody done wrote the Browns off. So the Browns got to go in there with the attitude that they are the ones that are going to be the victors. Instead of being the victims, Cleveland Browns become the victors. Make the Ravens your victims. Make them never want to think about throwing another 30th anniversary or 35th anniversary, anything. Have that attitude. Go in there with your middle fingers up to the Ravens, fans, team, whatnot. Get that attitude, get that real dog in y'all, and go in there and kick the Ravens' ass for disrespecting y'all. Period. Period. Because I actually think the Browns can win this game. I actually think they win this game. Now, the Browns got to believe that they can win this game. But we're going to go to some quick picks. Picks, as you see the illustration of myself. Quick picks. Last week I went 3-3. Overall for the season, I'm 4-4 for the quick picks for this season. Now the first game I'm going to be picking, the Seattle Seahawks versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh's home opener against Seattle. Seattle got a real decent defense. And Seattle is a good team, pretty good team. But I don't see it happening in Pittsburgh this Sunday. So I got the Steelers defeating the Seahawks 24-19. Steelers defeating the Seahawks 24-19. Next quick pick of the day. Going up to the Motor City, where you got the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams 0-1. But it's a reunion game. Ben Johnson goes back up to Detroit, where he was the former offensive coordinator last year. They're going up against the Detroit Lions, who got manhandled against the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to say this. Chicago did some things that was good against Minnesota until the fourth quarter. Then J.J. McCartney just went wild. He just went wild. And Caleb Williams looked good for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth, it didn't look so good. Detroit knows they cannot go 0-2 and trail Green Bay by 2 games in the NFC North. That would be a wrap for Detroit in the NFC North. So, I got Detroit defeating Chicago. A lot of people say it's going to be a rout. I don't think it's going to be a rout. I got Detroit defeating Chicago 28-20. Detroit beating Chicago 28-20. Which leads me to my next game. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Los Angeles Chargers, fresh off their opening day win against the Kansas City Chiefs down in Brazil, take their show to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders, who are 1-0 as well, fresh off their opening day win in New England. Chargers, I'm going to tell you like this. The Chargers are one of my dark horses in the AFC. Justin Herbert looks like he is that guy this year. He looks like he is that guy. And he had his old friend Keenan Allen back, along with Lab McConkey. And the Chargers running game with Omarion Hampton. I got the Chargers taking the Raiders, beating the Raiders 24-20. I got the Chargers coming out on top against the Raiders 24-20. Which leads me to this game, the Super Bowl rematch. The Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, who lambasted the Kansas City Chiefs last year in the Super Bowl, they now have a rematch in KC. Chiefs 0-1, losing to the Chargers. Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Dallas Cowboys last week without Jalen Carter, who was out due to getting kicked out the game against Dallas for spitting at Dak Prescott. Kansas City Chiefs probably be about their top two receivers, Rashee Rice suspension, Xavier Worthy injury, which means Hollywood Brown is going to get a lot of play. And I like some of the matchups because one guy on Philadelphia secondary was getting killed by Dak and the Cowboys. But the run game for KC will probably be sold up because Jalen Carter is back this week. But I'm going to go different. Because you can never underestimate a team like Kansas City. Nobody's giving them a shot against Philadelphia. And this is the early season. And Kansas City's defense is pretty decent as well. So I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs squeaking it out in Kansas City Chief fashion against the Philadelphia Eagles 27-24. That's right. The Kansas City Chiefs squeaking it out against the Eagles 27-24. Which leads me to the last game I got to pick, which is our game, the Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. Gotta get my quick picks out of there. I gotta show my illustrations and stuff like that on there. Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. Both teams are 0-1. Both teams lost by a point. In typical Brownsian fashion, old Browns, new Browns, typical Brownsian fashion, they both lost by 1 point. Like they say, kickers do matter. Let's make kicking great again. Honestly, nobody's giving the Browns a shot. Nobody's giving the Browns a shot. It's the Ravens' 30th anniversary. They're celebrating. But you know what? I think the Browns are going to get it done today. I actually think the Browns are going to get it done today. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to come back with a strong game this week. I think Tillman can add on to the decent game he had last week, besides the drop pass that led to the interception, icing the game for the Bengals. I think he can add to that because I'm not impressed with the Baltimore Ravens secondary. Now, of course, they got Kyle Hamilton, they got Humphrey, but besides that, question marks. Besides that, question marks. And if the Browns can get a little out the run game to keep the Ravens honest so they can exploit them in the vertical passing game, I think the Browns have a shot. Plus, Joe Flacco is coming home. So the Browns can't spoil this for Joe Flacco. And I think Andrew Smith redeems himself. Because, see, today is a game of redemption for the Browns. Today is a game of redemption. I think Andrew Smith redeems himself, and the Browns squeak out a 24-23 victory over the Ravens. It ain't gonna be easy, and Baltimore ain't gonna give it to you. Browns are gonna have to take it. They are gonna have to take it. But it can be done. I got the Browns winning 24-23. And there you have it. All About Sports 216 Cleveland Browns pregame show. It's your man Keith Allen. Now, later on in the day, about 30 minutes to about 45 minutes after the conclusion of the Cleveland Browns Baltimore Ravens game. Stay tuned for the All About Sports 216 Cleveland Browns post game. Stay tuned for that. We'll talk about everything that happened during the game, win or lose. I will be here, win or lose. Last week I had some technical difficulties. I don't know really what happened, but this week I will be there, win or lose. And that sums it up. For the Cleveland Browns, 216, Cleveland, All About Sports 216, Cleveland Browns pregame. I'd like to thank you all watching from X, from YouTube, from Facebook, from Instagram. Get the likes up. Continue to hit the like button. Share this video and everything. I hope it was insightful. Share this video. And, hey, gotta do it in between the lines. So, Cleveland Browns, get the job done. But anyway, this your man Keith Allen, signing out. I'll see you all later this afternoon. Peace.
Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Cleveland is the city and town, orange and brown. You know what's going down, we reppin' that dog pound. Fans going crazy, dogs want a bone. Offense headed straight to the end zone. Ground game, pound game, this is our season. Now we need to stop. Let's go defense, special team, running back 6 for the score. Extra point good and the whole crowd roar. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, brownies, here we go. Here we go, here we go. you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
From the first moment you heard me, you wasn't really